Hey guys, for today's 10 shooting accessories in 10 days challenge, I wanted to do a follow-up video to Mark Thomas's video that he posted on basic reloading. And I wanted to talk about some convenience items that will make life much easier. You do not have to have something like this Dillon press where you spend a huge amount of money on the press and it produces ammunition very quickly to get into reloading. And actually, honestly, I would not recommend that because there's settings and different things on here that I wouldn't recommend unless you have some experience reloading. Some things that will make life much, much easier. A basic tool to hold your shell casings. This one is for 50 BMG. These are available commercially. This one came from Cabela's. Midway has them. They're available in different calibers, but this could also be as simple as just drilling some holes in a block of wood. As you size your cases, they tend to stretch over time, and the more times you reload them, the longer that they stretch to the point where they will not chamber anymore. So you're going to have to trim those down, but in order to trim them down, you're going to have to measure them. So you could use a set of calipers. I don't necessarily recommend that because it's going to be tedious and could lead to an error in measurement. There are case length gauges available where all you do is slide your shell casing in and it'll either fit in the specific slot made for it or it will not. I actually keep a bunch of these hung right here on my shooting bench just in a handy spot. This set is made by Midway. There's 4 different ones, probably about 100 different calibers on there, but they are quite a handy tool. The next step that you're going to have to do is to prime your cases. You could do this one at a time in the press, and the press that Mark showed, that's actually the same exact press that I started with. But a tool like this will make life much easier. This is a hand priming tool. So you squeeze it from the side, you put your primers in the top, you shake it, the primers will fall to the correct orientation, and you just put your shell casing in the top, squeeze, and it pushes the primer in. This will make your life much, much easier if you're getting into reloading. Lee has this one. It uses a proprietary shell holder that really just works with this loading tool. So as I got more into reloading more calibers, I switched to this RCBS one, which uses a standard shell case holder. But essentially it's the same principle. I think it costs a few dollars more than the Lee, but over time I felt this one would save me money. And I guess I kind of wish I bought this one to start with. All right. Beyond that, so you're going to have to put your powder in. You're going to have to get your powder from the container, weigh it, and then into your shell casing. Mark featured a funnel for the projectiles, and that is definitely a necessary tool. But something that makes life easier is these little scoops. Lee offers this. It's a powder measure kit. Has different graduations of scoops, comes with a chart for different powders. If you're not reloading a super accurate ammunition, you could actually just scoop and pour them into the shell casing. Just be very careful to make sure you're using the correct scoop for the correct powder and not overcharging and leading to a dangerous situation. But this tool can make life much easier. Another thing that's indispensable for very accurate loads when you're weighing out each individual powder charge would be a powder trickler. This works very easy. You put your powder in the top, you just spin this and it'll put out a few grains of powder at a time. That's definitely a very important tool. Another thing is a deburring tool. So once you trim your case length, it'll leave burrs at the top of the case, and you can just spin this by hand. for the outside of the case as well as the inside. That's a pretty easy tool to use. There are power ones that are available, but definitely is not necessary. A hand tool like this is much less expensive. I also wanted to touch on one of the most basic reloading tools available, but these things really do a good job. You can load some accurate ammunition with these. It's called a Lee loader. These are specifically designed for rifles from what I've found. What makes it handy, if you're shooting a bolt-action rifle, this Lee loader, what it does is only sizes the neck of the case. And if you want to reload very, very accurate rifle ammunition, neck sizing is the way to go. But this little kit comes with everything needed to get into reloading. They're quite inexpensive. And this one is for 30-06. I've loaded many bullets with this. It has a full set of directions, comes with a little scoop for measuring. If you are going to get into very accurate loading with this, I would recommend using a powder measurer, something very accurate, rather than that scoop. You just use a hammer, you hit the end of the shell case, into the die, it sizes the neck, and you do everything from there. It's quite simple to use. But if you just want to test the waters of reloading, I think this Lee rifle loader is a pretty decent tool for it at a inexpensive price. I thought I would talk about dies for a minute as well. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money on dies such as the Redding, RCBS, Dillon. Lee, I find, makes a fine die, especially for small batches. So 303 Brit, I'm not going to shoot that much. So I went just with the Lee basic die. 458 Win Mag. That gun is very unpleasant to shoot. On occasion I do like taking it out. I actually found these at a gun show for $15, and they've done very well loading the few amount of cartridges that I've loaded with those. If you're going to be loading a pistol caliber, I do recommend a carbide set. This is an RCBS, but Lee produces them as well for much less money. The reason I recommend the carbide is part of the reloading process is lubing the cases, but the carbide dies, from my experience, you do not have to lube the cases, and that just is one step that it saves you from having to do. Lubing the cases helps reduce the stretch, and also makes them go into the die easier, come out easier, things like that. But with the carbide dies, with pistol calibers, I find you do not have to do that. All right, if you have any further questions on reloading, put them in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you come back and watch some others, and check out the other YouTubers posting videos about the 10 shooting accessories in 10 days. I know Hamilton Outdoors has been posting some nice ones. Boomstick 779. As I mentioned, Mark Thomas and Sick Nick has posted some, and I want to mention his video on the first aid again. It was awesome. So check them out, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the next installment. Thank you.